Good afternoon, everybody, and I want to thank you for coming out and taking a minute to hear our stories, to remember our colleague and loved friend, Deputy John Kotfila. I just hope you all bear with us while we try to get through this. We really want to take a minute to remember John and how he affected not only us, but the community. He had such a great impact, and every year it seemed like a story came out about him. You know, whether he was helping out someone in the community or what he really loved when he was involved with the safety net program here at the Sheriff's Office. And my name is Sergeant Eric Powell, and I'm a team leader for the safety net program here at the Sheriff's Office. And when I took over the team 2.5 years ago, the team was already in place, and John was one of my team members. He worked down in our District 4 area down in Ruskin. And just immediately when I met the guy for the first time, when I was getting certified and learning how to use the equipment, there was just that life about him. And this smile, you'll probably hear mentioned a lot today about his smile. He always had this smile, and we have a photograph here today, one of our team members behind me, and that's who John was. He was always smiling. And we have a tough job that we do, and it's hard to smile a lot. But he found it inside him to smile all the time, and that was contagious. I could rely on John just for about anything. I'd call him, John, we have a situation in your district with a client that straps come off, or we have a new client. Can you come over and talk to the family, answer any questions? Absolutely, Sarge. I'm headed out there. I'll take care of it. And not only would he take care of it, he'd go above and beyond. And that wasn't even asked of him. And I got to know that I didn't have to ask that anymore. I just depended on him. And the really, really hard situations that we're faced with out there, and to know you can pick up a phone and call a guy, and he'll go handle it, and the job gets done, and he helps out the community, and we get the response back from the folks. Thanks for letting John come out here. He helped us out. We would have never known about this program, and now we have our loved one on the program. Thank you so much. I can't tell you how touching that is to me to hear that as a supervisor in the Sheriff's Office, and that's what the Sheriff's Office is about, and that's what we try to be out here. I just talked to John last Tuesday on the phone, and I was off, and he called me, and it was late. And he never apologized for calling me. It didn't matter, and I love that about him. Hey, Sarge, hey, Eric, I know you're sleeping, but hey, just wanted to run something by you. Absolutely. What do you got, John? We're going to miss him. The men and women standing behind me work closely with him. They're members of the safety net team with us today. We're all going to miss him, and we loved him. The energy he brought and the life he brought to this office and to this community, and I think we need to celebrate that. And with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Sergeant Jeff Massaro, and he's going to say a few words.
I was one of the original safety net team members, and John was selected because of his attitude, and he was a well-rounded person that you wanted to be around, and when he was with you, things just were nice. He just was a great person. When he got on the team, I had taken him with me one day. We had some clients that we had to go replace the straps and the batteries for. And there was one location, we had 2 clients that were in the same location, so I figured I can show him how to do the first one, and then he'll follow up and do the second one. So everything was working as planned. I removed the strap, replaced the battery, put a new one on, showed him everything. Oh, I got this, I can do this, I got it. And that was his attitude. You just had to show him, and then he took it over. So we brought the next client over to replace their battery and strap. Well, the one that I did was on the wrist. The one that he had to handle was on the ankle. And these were elderly folks. They, they're not able to lift their legs like younger people can. So that required John to get lower in order to do the job that we needed to do. So it put his head in a lower position, I guess. If you can picture, the gentleman is sitting in a chair, and I'm standing there watching John, and all of a sudden I see the man, he does like this. He's just like looking at John's head, and then he just starts petting his head. And he goes, oh, this is so soft. And without me, I could see John's doing like this, and he kept on working, and he finished the job, and I did everything I could not to lose it, and we ended up walking out the door. At that point, we were done, and he looked at me and he goes, "You're going to tell everybody, aren't you?" And I said, "You know I am." And at our next training, of course, that story was told at our lunch, and so he had to live with that for a while. That was in 2011, 2012. A week and a half ago, he called me, and I've been off the team now for a few years because of a change in position that required my time to focus on other things. And so I answered the phone. "Hey, John, how's it going?" He says, "It happened again." I said, "What, John? What happened?" He goes, "I don't know if I want to tell you because then you're going to tell everybody." I said, "No, John, I promise I won't say anything. What happened?" "I got petted again." And he had another client. I guess she must have thought he was a cat or something, because she started petting his head. She goes, "Oh, this is so nice." But I promised him I wouldn't tell anybody, but given the circumstances, and I felt it was something. I want the people to know that he did his job, and he did the job with pride. And you can tell by his family and the long line of law enforcement personnel that were there. John made us better. He made this program better. He makes this sheriff's office better. And he's going to be missed. Danielle, I think you wanted to share a story.
I had the privilege of meeting John as part of the original safety net team. When it first started, when the program kicked off the ground, there was 8 of us that were selected, 2 from each district. I remember doing training over in District 3 one day, sitting at the Outback off of Sheldon Road. And we were teasing John because he was telling us about his milk addiction. And anybody that knew John knew that he loved to drink milk. Telling us he always had at least 2 gallons in the refrigerator, and he would probably go through them within a couple of days. So John was telling us this story, and of course, we called him Little John for a reason because he was short. And but his personality, and he had a very infectious smile and a great personality, so that's how he made up for it. John was sharing with us this story as we were sitting there over dinner, and myself and one of the other team members, Erica, and she's not here right now, we were saying how we should do something, to just as a joke. Initially, we were trying to think about trying to get like a baby seat or something to put it in his car, but then when she started telling us about his love for milk, we were discussing it with Jeff, and Jeff gave Erica and I a direct order to go out and find a baby on board sticker. So we spent part of that afternoon looking for the sticker, and when we finally found one, we put it on the side of his car when it was parked in the District 3 parking lot. And we drove around for the rest of the afternoon doing scenarios and training, and John had no idea that sticker was back there. So he drove around District 3 for about 6 hours or so with a baby on board sticker on his car. And then when he finally realized it at the end of the training day, he brought it into the District 3 conference room, and he was just laughing at us and shaking his head and smiling, saying, "Okay, you guys got me on this one." And we had to laugh because, that was just part of the camaraderie that we had with the team. And John is definitely going to be missed. And I know the thing I'm going to miss the most is his smile. He was just such a great person.
I'm Cale Parsons. You've heard safety net things. I'm crash investigator. That's what John did. I got the opportunity to spend many classes with him and talk about a ball of energy. That guy, you just could not slow him down. There's nothing in the world that he wouldn't do for you. Nothing in the world that he wouldn't say. The best way to describe him would be a little brother. Anyone who knows him, especially with the traffic homicide squad that I'm on now, he was our little brother. He was a little brother you couldn't help but love. There's nothing about him that you disliked. He was there for you when you need him. That phone call seems like it came daily, always asking questions. The integrity he had and the devotion he had to crash investigations was unmatched. Every moment of his career was spent making sure that he never let any rock be unturned. So we're going to miss him.
I want to call up Sarah and her family to say a few words as well.
I never got the opportunity to meet Deputy Kotfila in person. However, I think he's the most amazing man. He died a hero. I'd like to say that the one thing that no one knows about this story is that initially, before this crash happened, I was in front of the deputy, and he pulled around me and hit the person instead of, he saved my life. If this deputy had not made a split-second decision to pull around me, that would have been me dying. Not only did he save my own life, but he saved my boyfriend's life as well. He sounds like such an amazing person, and I'd like to thank his family as well as him for his service. I wish I had gotten the chance to know him. I definitely feel that the world is a dimmer place today as a result of his loss. I couldn't understand at first what exactly had happened the night of the crash. All I could think was that maybe he didn't see the person, because until he passed me, I wasn't even aware that there was an officer behind me. However, when I found out what kind of person he was, I feel certain in my heart that he knew exactly what was about to happen to me, and that he sacrificed himself instead. Thank you.
It's a man that saved my daughter, and he is a national hero. He saved 2 lives and probably countless others, because if that hadn't happened, there could have been more cars behind. I can only thank the police department, the sheriff's department, and the state police for the job that they do to protect and serve as they swear an oath when they take their office. They're just like the brothers in the military. They look out for each other and they have to stand up for each other. He saved my daughter.
I was a random person on a random road at a random time. I didn't know him, and I love him for saving me.
God bless this guy.
Yes. Thank you.
T, let me get this photo. I don't know if you guys can see this. That's John in the middle. And I talked to you earlier about that smile. This is it. This is what we're all going to remember him. This is in our helicopter with 2 other Sheriff's Office team members during a training event. That's John Kotfila right there. We couldn't, you get him in a helicopter, you have to pry him out of it. He loved the seat time in the helicopter, and he was my go-to guy when it came to training. And to get all these men and women here behind me trained, and you see the equipment behind us. So I just wanted to bring this up and let you guys look at it.
We have that picture we'll send out later if we need it. All right, anything else? Anybody, sorry, question? All right, thank you very much.
We have questions.
Yeah, you want to ask questions? Anybody have questions? Go ahead.
Just for all of you guys, the crash happened right after 3 a.m. and a lot of the times you guys are the only people out on the road, and you do have a lot of times you're dealing with intoxicated drivers. Does this kind of give you pause now? What sorts of things do you deal with on the road?
There's a lot of stuff that goes on with our job. Our car is our office for most of us, and we're driving around. We got a lot of things going on in there. It was early in the morning. We're on an interstate, and we have phones going off, computers that we have to tend to. It's a lot of responsibility that goes on. You're driving around here, and I want to get the message out, you know, that we got to be cognizant, and we all are, when we travel out here in the roadways. And as a community, we all have to look out for each other and and make those phone calls if we see something. You see something, you got to say something.
Is it accurate that Deputy Kotfila's cruiser did not have a dash camera and that neither did any of the Dodge Chargers on the sheriff's deputy force?
I'm not going to deal with it.
The only ones is just the DUI.
Okay, only DUI investigators have them. So his vehicle would not have been
No
equipped with
dash.
one.
What about wrong way crashes in general? We report on them time and time and time again, and then now we've lost one of our sheriff's deputies. What do you think needs to be done?
Larry, do you want to comment on that? I know we received.
This is a problem that's going on throughout the community. We see it throughout the state of Florida. We're working closely with FDOT, the Lee Roy Selmon Expressway, but it's not just inherited to that road. We've seen it happen all over the community. So there is things going on throughout the state that will help us recognize what's causing this. But we do know, we can't say for sure in this investigation, but we do know the common denominator in all of these wrong way crashes has been alcohol. Most all of them have been some form of impairment. So when you combine an impairment issue as well as major road constructions, heavy volume of traffic, there's a lot of pattern changes continually going on, you're going to have this recipe for disaster. But if we can eliminate the impairment factor, which is probably the largest issue on why this is being caused, then we hope that that can at least severely diminish what's going on. So it remains to be seen whether that was a factor in this case or not, but we know generally overall that tends to be the problem. So there are things that have been done. Do we need to do more? I'm certain that that's going to be continually evaluated to see where we're going to go with that, and hopefully this will also bring more attention into the fact that the solutions that we've come up so far need to be expanded and figure out just what it is we need to do as a community to get this fixed.
Do we know if Deputy Kotfila attempted to use his light guard and signal the driver prior to the impact?
It happened so fast. I mean, between the 911 call and the actual crash, we suspect there was only about a 20-second in that. So, as all of you have seen from the photographs, it's very difficult right now to determine what exactly was on, what was not on. There was severe damage to the car, not to mention the damage that was done from the extraction of removing him from the car. So all that will be looked at upon over the next few weeks to see just exactly what was on and what wasn't on, and to determine whether or not that was in place. So I think the bottom line is that like you heard from the witnesses here, we may not ever exactly know exactly what was he had knowledge of, but we do know he was a hero. We do know that he was out there patrolling the street like these guys do every night, and it's a job. We know we can get shot at any time, but most law enforcement officers, one of the second or third highest causes of death is from traffic crashes. We operate during the peak hours of DUIs, so it's not only hazardous for them, but it's hazardous for the community, and they recognize that, and that's why they go out every night trying to stop these people that are impaired, to keep from killing or maiming or seriously injuring all of us. And that's what they do every night without fail and with utmost perseverance. Anybody else?
Can you talk more about the safety net program and the impact you had on it?
I'll refer that to one of them, but anybody there as far as the crash, there's a lot of it that's still under investigation that we can't discuss, but we've pretty much discussed most of what we can mention. But if you have any safety net questions or anything like that, I'll turn it over back to Sergeant Powell.
You said traffic fatalities are the third highest cause of
I think if you look on Officer Down Memorial page, it'll give you a running statistic. I'm not sure, but I know it's within the second, third highest causes of death for law enforcement. And we can see that, from some of the cases, even in our own community, that, law enforcement is not only more immune to this than anybody else in the community. And, it's just something that, we all as a community need to look at and continue working on to try to find solutions to reduce these type of situations.
Any idea on when toxicology reports on the driver?
Those usually take 4 to 6 weeks, so that's certainly something that we're going to be anxiously awaiting to determine, what those results were. Anything else regarding that? If not, I'll give it to Sergeant Powell on the safety net.
Yeah.
Sergeant.
As far as the safety net program, we partnered up with Safety Net Company. Initially, when Sergeant Massaro was the founding supervisor for the team. And the reason for that is every agency in the country gets missing persons calls. We all get them. Now our community here, because I have men and women that are trained with the equipment to find these people, they can go out and wear a watch style bracelet that just emits a simple radio frequency all the time. And if they go missing, their loved ones call us. And then my team is dispatched, because we're the search and rescue component. We're certified and trained to use the equipment, and we all respond as quickly as we can to get to the area to supplement the patrol deputies that are already on scene looking for them. And using our equipment, we go to work and we try to find that signal, find the missing person, and return them to their loved ones. And John was one of the founding team members, like Danielle had mentioned. She was one of the original team members, and he was selected. It was a small team. He just got it. He just understood how to work the technology. And then he took it to the next level, and he was able to be a trainer. Some folks have a little difficulty using it, and it's not something you can just pick up and off you go, and you're able to find someone and track somebody. He embraced it, he loved it, and he took the time to explain the program to the folks in the community, and that's what we're going to miss. The team's going to miss him for that.